It's been well documented how I have too many chairs, but I can't help myself searching for good deals on Marketplace. When I saw an Aeron I could buy for $150, I thought, how can I flip this for some cash? And Rob's Refurbs was born. First of all, I absolutely love the Aeron chair, but that's the $1,800 remastered version. The Classic is the older and lesser version, but it can still be a good chair if you find one for the right price. As I run through refurbishing my Aeron, I'll show you all the things to look out for when buying one. My journey began with a Marketplace listing in northern Wisconsin. 2 Aeron chairs were advertised for $225 each, but one caught my eye because it was missing a caster. Sensing an opportunity, I offered $150 for the imperfect chair, and the seller accepted. The meetup at their storage unit felt like a scene straight out of Storage Wars. So here I go again, picking up a chair, again, kind of a sketchy location, just like the Amiya I picked up. They showed up very late, but fortunately, I had my wife's bike in my trunk, so I killed some time riding around in circles. The sellers arrived and explained that they were offloading the chairs because they hadn't been used in years. My first impression was that the chair was in great condition. Honestly, it can feel really awkward filming yourself doing this kind of stuff in front of people, so I don't have video. But I did in fact fully test the chair to ensure everything was operational. Now back to the studio, it was time for a more thorough inspection. This is definitely a size B chair. You can tell by the 2 small dots right behind the Aeron logo. First, I threw on a random caster I found in the office just to keep the chair level. Then I went straight to examining the mesh for problems. With no easy way to fix or replace it, any damage here can be a deal breaker. In this case, I did find some stains, but there were no frays or holes in the mesh, so this is a big relief. It also felt nice and taut in the seat, not overly stretched out. Next, I inspected the frame for cracks. Also, check out the lumbar pad, the arm pads, and the pad underneath the front edge of the seat. These are all softer pieces that are prone to deteriorate over time. Thankfully, all of these areas checked out with no issues, so I started testing for smooth functionality. Seat height is a really important adjustment to make sure functions before you buy. The cylinder is expensive and potentially really difficult to replace. My run through of the tilt lock, tilt tension, forward seat tilt, and arm adjustments all checked out fine as well. As I went through the chair, some of the filth was becoming more evident, so it was time to take it over to the shop where I had the tools to clean it up. The shop is where the true pros at BTOD refurbish Steelcase Leap and Amiya chairs. You can save 50% off brand new and still get a 12-year warranty and free returns. Alright, end of my shameless plug, back to Rob's Refurbs. There's different levels of cleaning you can do with these Aerons, and I decided to go all in. To really get all of the grime and buildup that accumulates after years of use, you really need to disassemble the seat and the backrest. The backrest is easy to remove with only 4 bolts holding it in place. The seat also has 4 bolts, 1 on each side and then 2 below holding the swing arms. As soon as these parts are removed, you can clearly see why I took them off. I now have full access to vacuum up the mess. A strong shop vac with long brush bristles loosens and removes all the nasty particles, even from the grimy cylinder. Just keep in mind, I am getting the brush dirty in this process, so it's smart to occasionally clean it so you're not transferring grease and dirt to other areas. While I had the chair disassembled, I took off the mechanism cover to check what year the chair is. I'm going to save that secret for later. Flipping the chair over, I could access the rest of the exposed areas. The casters were pretty gross, but with one missing, a full replacement set was in order, rather than trying to clean them. Removing the mesh panels is where the real gunk gets exposed. These are the hard to reach areas that typically are never cleaned, so there could be 20 plus years worth of soda drips and potato chips hiding inside. You can see chunks of debris falling off the panels while they're removed. The seat will always be worse because of, well, gravity, so I'll start with the back to get a little practice before moving on to the harder areas. With the seat panel removed, you can see the pad that protects the front edge of the seat. These pads can start to crumble over time, so I was extra careful to gently clean this area. Again, the long bristles are key to getting deep into the channels that hold the mesh panels. With the frames brushed, I moved on to the mesh to get any larger pieces dislodged. Some stains wouldn't budge, so I saved those for the wet vac. Now, one of the most satisfying steps was vacuuming off the lumbar pad. Using a special concoction of Tech stain remover and Dawn soap, I wiped down all parts of the frame, paying special attention to any marks like these white scuffs. These are usually from running the chair into a wall. Now came the really fun part. Let's see how much dirt and grime was still stuck inside the mesh. I used a small upholstery cleaner to push that same cleaning solution mixed with hot water into the mesh and then suck it back out. Now the result is pretty gross, and this is what I initially considered to be a very clean chair. The last thing is just to put everything back together, being very careful to line up the mesh panels with the screw holes to keep the tension even. I use clamps to hold the panels into the correct alignment while screwing them back in. Reattaching the seat frame is simple. Just be sure to go slowly to make sure the bolts are aligned properly. The back is even easier to reassemble. I decided to go with rollerblade casters, knowing they would not only look cool, but they're a fun upgrade that might help catch the eye of someone wanting to buy the chair. And there we have it. If I do say so myself, this Aeron Classic looks pretty amazing. I was able to remove the stains from the mesh and bring the frame back to a respectable shine. Other than a few scuffs I couldn't get out, you would not be able to tell that this is a really old chair. So let's go back. How old is this Aeron? May 2004. So that's 20 years old for those that hate math. If it were a car, I would be able to put collector license plates on it. Considering both the chair's age and condition after my restoration, I estimate I could easily sell this for $400 to $500. With hopes of selling it quickly, I posted the chair for $450 on a Friday evening. That same night, I was messaged by a very interested party. We set up a time to meet the next day, and in less than 24 hours, I had $450 cash in hand. Yes, 3 times what I paid for the chair. That profit is awesome, but it was also satisfying to get the chair into the hands of someone who really appreciated it. And a huge bonus, saving it from becoming waste in a landfill. This is some great startup money for Rob's Refurbs. Now, back to scouring Marketplace for chairs. To see which chair you should be out there searching for, check out our office chair buying guide. The link is in the description below.